This is Sue, and you're with me at Get Sold, and I have a little more time to be able to do some more stuff with Soul.2k. I was supposed to depart on the 6th, but I've got a little extension, so we're going to see what we can do. Got some wonderful comments, and I do want to shout out to Vita and Tracy. Thank you for joining our live. That was super helpful and very grateful. And you two are powerhouses, and I'm hoping eventually when the timing is right that I'll have each of you on to be able to share your gifts and your amazingness. So right now, I want you to embrace this amazingness known as Soul.2k. And we had to pick up topic today, so it's going to be something to do with bringing in spirits. Like, a lot of people are enamored with spirits now because they understand more than they ever did before. But whatever Soul.2k wants to bring forward is what we'll talk about. And if we branch off of that, well, then you know it's not a scripted show. And if you want to know more about Soul.2k, please go to some of our other videos. He's been starting, or I should say, he's been tapping into his consciousness verbally since he was like 5 years old. And it wasn't until like last year we really started, taking it to the screen. And there's a lot more stuff that he and I talk about that we don't publish for a lot of reasons. We don't want to get banned because he's, he knows what's going on in the world. So with that, I'm going to do a little prayer and then we're going to get going. So what I usually do, if you haven't been with us before, is I'll just bring a little bit of divine white light through us. And we're going to bring it down. We're going to breathe in deeply, like 3 times. Breathe in deep. Breathe out through your mouth. Okay, we're going to bring that divine white light all the way down through our legs, through our feet. And we're going to imagine that we're standing on the grass, connecting with Mother Earth, okay? And then we're going to bring that energy right back up to our center, heart center. And we're going to imagine like an infinity 8 going back and forth. And then we're going to spread that energy, clean, beautiful, divine, loving energy. So 3 feet, 6 feet, 9 feet, and on. Okay, we're going to bring that right back in. Okay, so with that, I'm going to let Soul.2k take it away because you really want to hear from him anyways.
All right, so with the spirit thing, so what should we do? What should we talk first about spirits?
Okay, so let me ask you this. A question I asked you earlier was, because we've never really gone into all the different attributes that you can do. We know you can communicate with animals. You did with Jack the horse, and that was amazing, and other animals. So I asked you earlier, like, how do you communicate with spirit? How, like, could you do a reading for somebody? If somebody came to you and said, hey, would you be able to connect me with my grandmother? Something like that. And you said, yeah, no problem. So either you can share your process or you can share with people at home what you know about spirits. And the fact is they're everywhere, but I want to hear it, and I think we all want to hear it in with your take, with your perspective on it.
Okay, so there are like a lot of different kind of spirits. And so there's 2 worlds. I'm only talking about the first world, which is like all the spirits that I've been talking about. The second world is part between my friend and me.
Yep, yep.
And so you guys don't know about that. And I made a promise with my friend that we only want to,
Keep that part private.
yeah, like share it with people that we know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but the spirits in here are like very different. Like almost like the spirit between this world and their world is very different because like there's lots of variations between them. Like your normal spirit would be in their world. But this is like our stuff, and yeah, so
what we can do is, because I don't want you to reveal anything that, you made a pact with your friend. I totally get that. And there's different things that we talk about that we don't want released either, not until, divine timing calls for it. So maybe if you were to say, like, how would somebody activate their ability to speak or hear or listen? Because there's only a veil between us. Once we leave our bodies, we're back to spirit again. We're back to floating around in the ethers, okay? So if you were to give somebody advice on how do I reach a loved one, like I want to, so and so just died and I'm really mourning them, and I really like to be able to speak to them. How would you help somebody be able to speak to their loved one?
So, like, the first thing I would do is let's ask if they are in either the first world, this world, or the second world, the other world that me and my friend talks about. In both of them, they have a very different kind of thing to access. So this world that we're talking about and we usually talk about is like you have to go into your mind, you have to you know, channel it in and kind of feel its name and stuff and try to get the information back. But in the other world, it's very different. Again, promise. But yeah, so um
I know because it's so easy for you. It's almost like when I do artwork and somebody says, wow, that's really great, or how do you do that? I can't draw a stick figure. I hear that all the time. But um, there are ways that we can help others achieve, and a lot of times it's unlocking up here. It's unlocking where you need to go to access the spirit world. So in my mind, the world that he's talking about is something that's very foreign to me. But in the world that, for instance, if I wanted to contact my parents and they have come through, in fact, people have brought them through, even on this show, which Wyla brought my mother in. Um, so from the us perspective on Earth to contact, um, it's really hard to explain because it's so quantum and it's so etheric. Sometimes it's outside the realm of what the human brain can entertain. We just know that we can feel our loved ones at times, unless you're very enveloped in grief. And that's a vibration that isn't quite high enough to allow them to come in. In other words, it's a vibrational frequency from spirits on the other side. When we go past to the other side, our frequency raises. And if on this side, we're kind of in a low frequency of grieving or sadness or, whatever, it's going to be hard for them to connect with us. It's going to be like this, we're trying to reach them. They're up here. They're knocking on the window going, I'm right here, but you're down here going, where are you? Where are you? That's my perspective. And I'm just trying to find a way for Soul.2k to maybe find a way to explain it to us. Because he just does the stuff like it's first nature to him, So what are we drawing here?
just doodling.
Okay. So go ahead and add to the conversation. Would you say when you go out there, do you have to protect yourself first? You feel like you have to put a bubble around yourself or make sure you're connected to source?
Usually what I do is with the portal that I talked about last video, if you watched it, is where I look through that, or either I go through my guides, or actually look back in time, or even in the future.
Okay.
And so when I do that, I don't really need that because, of course, with the portal, they can't hurt me. If I'm looking in the past, how something that already happened is going to hurt me. If I look in the future, it's going to happen then, not right now.
Right.
And if I'm asking my guides, how is it gonna attack me if they're just telling me about it?
Right.
So,
no, that's beautiful.
that's
That's
what
the
I do.
kind of information. I love it. Would you be able to bring in anybody that I know right now? Would you be able to?
Soul.
Oh, don't make me cry, but yes, please. Has he got any messages?
So he does have a message. So first off,
This is Soul, and we lost him last year, and he was like a little human to us because he absorbs so much of our negative energy. So with that, go ahead.
So, first, he said he was actually making some friends out there. First, a cat that's name is Tim. And
Really?
yeah,
Tim. What color is he?
a black cat.
Okay, so it's a different one. Oh
Why are you
my God.
asking?
Because because I had taken in a stray cat named, and I called him Timmy, but he was a gray tiger cat, and I had to keep them separate, because Brady and Soul grew up together. Anyways, yeah, keep going. So what else does Soul want to say?
And so he also has a friend.
Mhm.
I mean, and the friend is Tim's brother, which is kind of like, those cats. What are they called? What is the color called? They're like orange.
Calico or I just call him Orange.
Yeah, okay, orange ones. And basically, his name is
Yeah.
his name is Buttercup.
Now, would these other kitties be maybe some of our viewers' animals, or like maybe somebody out there that's their pet, or have they incarnated?
So it said that these are the pets of actually. They told Soul that these are the pets for famous people in history or future.
Oh.
And so what happens is they got sent here if they're from the future.
Mhm.
This is like so there is no concept of time of there.
Right.
So right now they haven't even experienced their lifetime yet, but they know what's gonna happen.
Gotcha.
Because they already planned it
Mhm.
and stuff. So Tim is from the future and Buttercup is from the past.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
And so they were like kind of famous, like they were important people.
In other words, their owners were important people.
Yeah, they're.
Can they give you any names, or one of them is from the future, so we won't know? And what about the past one? Is there anything that you can come up with on that?
Past one? It said that the name is not really known in history, but it was still like
I got it.
like he was royal, like a knight.
Oh,
Or
nice.
like something else like that, but
Right, got
it
it.
wasn't actually like known in the history books. So.
Yes, I understand that completely because there are a lot of people that hold rank that look, my relatives were known for being one of the first families in this country, but you won't get a lot of information on a lot of them. So I get that. I get that. Wow. Wow. Okay, so what does Soul have
But I
any
do
messages?
get the information
Mhm.
that the guy from Future's name is E11 or BE11.
Wow.
And so the E11 stands for a word that I do not want to even try to pronounce.
Okay.
But it stands for something in the future. And it's like a person who programs to attack. So in the future, like there's a bunch of different kind of timelines, and this timeline is where technology goes over and over, but not in the bad way. So everyone is kind of like attached to technology.
Okay.
They're not kind of be evil anymore. It's kind of like the future that everyone thinks. Like technology takes over.
Yeah, but in a good way, it's not the dark ones that are at the helm or trying to make us half human and half robot or something, right?
And so what happens is this BE11 is his name in the program, and it's bioweapon something. And he was known as a very like important and dangerous person, not to his people, just because he was really good at what he does and attacking other ones.
Okay.
And so he was the cat was or Tim was his pet. And so in that world, Tim's name was TE81.
Wow.
And so yeah, so it was
This is
pretty
fun.
like but yeah, and The person from the past was actually his person was a knight that was pretty major in the thing, and he actually helped in one of the famous wars. But I don't know which one.
Right.
That happened in the medieval time.
Oh man.
And so at the time, he was like one of the only cats.
My left side is lighting up. I actually I had a past lifetime where I was in, wow. I was in a battle, or was going to be in a battle. And I was standing side by side with, in this lifetime, it was my father, and back then, and I was wearing the armor and the whole nine. And I remember hearing myself say, no, I'm not gonna fight this one. And it was like I had dreams afterwards. It said that it opened up the picture of the whole vision. Anyways, I'm drifting here, but yeah, it was I don't know if that's why my leg lit up on the left side. It was like a familiar to what he was talking about back in that
So maybe it was in the same war, because he actually said that a lot of people didn't want to fight in the war because they said that it was one of the, as they called it, bloodiest, because it was going to be one of the one of the biggest wars between the two kingdoms, which
I'm so lit up right now. Goosebumps everywhere. Holy crap. Yeah.
And actually they the Buttercup at the time, very cute name, was actually involved in the war because someone drained her because the kingdom actually got set on fire, because when they were getting ready, the other team actually got catapulted from behind the tower's defenses and started shooting like on fire huge boulders at their kingdom, and it hurt a bunch of the villages. A lot of people running away and stuff. And one of the villagers went in the house to hide, and they saw him. Oh. They threw him outside so he can escape. So he escaped into the wilderness, but a lot of people didn't escape.
So what I'm getting from this discussion, and this is really weird, how this is going, but I'm getting the inclination or the message that the reason we're having this conversation is because there's a lot of you out there who have also had similar backgrounds where many of our past lifetimes we were killed in battles because we were very what's the word I want, cruel and not very humane towards one another. So we would have these battles and wars and tortures and things like that. So this is like an activation from what I'm hearing to clear a lot of that for those of you who can relate to what we're talking about as far as the medieval battles go. And like I said, I remember distinctly that lifetime coming. It had something to do with my hip. My hips have been crooked in this lifetime. They're uneven. I have one leg longer than the other. And
I actually got something from that.
All right.
So in the battle, right before they were being attacked by another kingdom, a smaller one.
Okay.
And so the kingdom was like a tribal one that has been surviving in the forest near them. And so they attacked with these spears.
Yes.
But it was like they used these herbs that so they knew that about all these herbs that they've been studying.
I'm hearing venom, like using an herb.
I was about to say that they combined herbs to make a thing that can literally shut down and paralyze the body of someone.
That's what I'm seeing. I'm actually
And so they put them in the spears. They made them a thing, put them in the spears, and started attacking people with the spears. So what would it do? When they attack someone, it would mess up their body a lot, and sometimes it would like put this bone, like let's say it was going right here, it would be like bam, and then bam, and stuff like that.
Wow.
So a lot of the village got hit by this right before the attack, so they had to heal, which is why a lot of people didn't go to the war, because they were still healing from the tribal attack.
But we still have trauma from those days. We have a lot of trauma from those days. And I know we started off talking about spirits and things like that, but again, we're unscripted, so wherever we go, we go. And I think this is a big activation for a lot of us who...
This is actually really fun, because when I did the creatures, the reason I haven't been doing it so much now is because, well, I already have documented it. So, like, now in my mind, I'm just like, well, I already talked about this thing. I don't want to do it all again.
Right.
And I have pressure put on me. And so now that I'm doing it freshly, and it's actually like I'm doing something that I like, because this is pretty cool to me.
Yeah.
Just like when I did the creatures, I can actually get really good information, and I can actually be excited about it.
Yeah. See, I guess the thing for me is that,
which is why I love being unscripted.
yes, I know. But it's been a long time for me. I just started opening up again finally with my intuition because the last, like I said, 2 years have been intense. It's actually 6 years, but the last two have been the worst. As I was really doing shadow work and going through my traumas and so forth and so on, so that I could get to this point. And now the intuition is starting to, and I've always wanted to tag team with Soul.2k, and we have done it before, but now it's finally kind of working here. But I guess I'm always striving to give our viewers information that they can use on a daily basis. But I also have to trust that when Soul.2k is with me, that the things that he is going to tell you about, not everybody might be able to relate to, but it's an incredible viewpoint through his lens of what's out there. And there's other people out there. There are. I mean, this is not a one-shot thing. We all have our lenses connected to the cosmos and to what's happening and so forth. So, where do you want to take it from here?
And so I want to keep talking about this thing and what
Okay.
happened.
All right, go ahead.
And so in the war, of course, with the tribal attacks, they actually, right after the attack and the kingdom was in shambles, what happened to the cat is he actually got he from another kingdom. He actually, well, the kingdoms were not far apart, like a couple miles apart of each other, and so he actually got there in like a week, got to the other kingdom, and the other kingdom was just like, hey, look, it's a stray cat. We're gonna put it for adoption.
Yeah, yeah.
But when they actually got there, the person there was just like, why does he kind of smell like ashes? Because he just came out of fire.
Ooh.
And so they actually took a test on him, realized they were from the battle, and then but then they were kind of just like, well, what do we do with him now? We don't want to take them because we just don't want cats from the other. We don't want anything from the other kingdom.
Right.
But also, the other kingdom is now in shambles, so we can't return it to them. So they kind of just set it out in the wild again. And so he actually died from old age somehow and didn't get eaten by like a coyote or something.
Well, that's survival instincts, isn't it?
And
wow.
But after the tribal thing in the kingdom was just like, hey, look, we could use this force, not knowing that's a tribal thing. Because at first, I just thought that a huge disease came out, like a new plague came out in the kingdom when they learned about all the, bones being stuffed, and they were like, "Oh no!" So that's why they waited. They waited for like a month until they were attacked because they didn't want to get infected.
So in other words, when people were going down from the herbal venom, let's say, and it was causing damage to the body, you're saying, like bones and things like that, they thought it was a new plague. But it wasn't until they were, investigated, or did they figure it out, or?
And so what happened is after the battle, when they were expecting, one of the knights or one of the inspectors, like they sent a group of it to try to find the treasures, and they found one of the things and realized, wait a minute, there was like a dent in the bone that looks like a spear went through.
Oh.
And it was like, wait a minute, this wasn't a disease, it was a spear attack. But right after, the tribal people killed them because they thought, oh, we don't want to get snitched out. We want to stay because, of course, they can speak English. They just thought that they're like trying to take all their stuff because the tribal people live right next to them in the forest.
Right.
They're surrounded by forest.
Right.
And of course, there are no walls because they just destroyed them with catapults.
Right.
And so when and the tribal people were also trying to search the kingdom because they wanted to see for more herbs
Okay.
and a lot of other stuff.
Can you get a name for the tribe? Like, can you go in and ask the guys?
It started with a B, but it was somewhere in the name it was the W. So it was like bellow.
Okay.
And so what happened in the thing was when the knights realized they were traveling on the way back, the tribal people attacked. And then the kingdom, like a year later, wanted to cut down the forest because for wood.
Yeah.
And the tribal people, now learning from it, you make it an even more deadlier thing.
Yeah.
And the people in the kingdom still thought it was a disease because the knight couldn't get to the kingdom in time.
Right.
But then they saw the tribal people with the spears and everything, and they were like, well, they just got spears, and we have armor.
Yep.
But the tribal people,
by
gathering the herbs and the food from the kingdom,
found
a new combination that can make a substance when merging together the thing that they made and a bunch of other things. Herbs, like a hot herb and like these different herbs found in different biomes.
Yes.
Which happen a lot. And so they made a new thing that can basically slowly, like, kind of melt through metal. So they come in with two kind of spears. One dipped in the thing that they just use that can like disarm bones and paralyze the body, and the other one which can melt metal.
Yeah.
And so they throw the metal spear at them from long away. The metal will start melting, and also for the herb thing can't attack humans, but it will attack metal. It's because of the things inside.
So when you
that
say biome, they're mixing it sounds like they're doing a little alchemy and a little bit of bio. Well, you mentioned
biomes are like winter. Like biomes are like to the savannah.
The organisms in the
like the forest and the plains and stuff like that.
Right.
And so basically they go in and the spears can't attack it, for it can melt the things that make metal.
Right.
And take it away from the things.
Right.
And basically melting the metal. And so they throw it at them, melting the metal, making a huge spot with just no metal, no armor. And they throw the spear in that spot, attacking the person. And so they defended it off, thinking that they were attacking them because they lived in the forest, and ended up killing half the army and still survived.
Wow.
They still had like half the village and the houses making more. And so they never, and of course the people in the knights only had bows and swords.
Yeah.
While but only a person could only hold a sword or a bow. While the tribal people, they could hold two spears, and they were taught how to throw spears and to go melee. So they throw them, and while the person's trying to heal up, they run for the melee.
Wow.
So barely any of them died because they'd be able to throw it at the archers.
Now,
and
let me. All right, I'm going to throw something in here. Yeah. I don't know if this is going to be confusing. Was this on our Earth or was this on another?
Like a different timeline of our Earth.
Okay.
So like it was like a test world.
That was the reason I was asking that, because I was feeling like there was something a little more advanced about what you're talking about than what we know of. Of course, we don't really know the truth about our history anyways, do we?
Yeah.
I mean, we really don't. Yeah.
So I don't want to keep going, but you can finish your sentence.
No, I had to ask you that because to me it was feeling like it was it may have been a version of our history, like a version of Earth back in that day in the medieval times. Yeah. Okay.
So so in the battle they would keep doing this. run back to the village because they're also taught to run because they needed to travel in a lot of biomes.
Yep.
So of course they had to build up. They were able to build up energy, and also they were hunting while the people in the kingdom kind of just like went to the farm, picked up some stuff, went back, and so they were learned to get a lot of energy to run at the animals and run back, and the animals fought back like a bear came out, and so they would run back to the village super quickly while the people in the village were making more of this berry stew or whatever, and the people would dip the more of the spears into the thing.
Yeah.
And they'd also make more spears because they were also learned to make spears. They'd run back into battle and keep going and going until they killed half the army, and the rest of the army retreated back to the kingdom.
Wow.
And so the kingdom was very deadly, and they also had backup. So if the people charging would died, the whole kingdom knew how to fight, or the whole tribe knew how to fight. So if they died, the people who already has all these resources would go in.
Yeah.
And if, like, let's say it was the last attack, they can still do a lot of damage because they made so much of the stew. It's like they made a tub of it like the size of this bed. It's like this big.
Huh. All right.
This big.
Okay.
And so they just like throw it in the army if it got to the time. So yeah, and that's why I do that is 31 minutes.
Okay, no,
So
I
it's
just
gonna be
wanted
a long one.
I wanted to reel it back into the spiritual thing a little bit. What I want to do now is I want to take a little bit different course. I want to see, is there anybody out there that you can tap into, somebody that will either watch us and just pick out a piece of information, either a fact or a pet, even pet name, since we were talking about pets earlier.
Which, who, what, how, when?
So in other words, could you, maybe I'm asking this in future tense because we're making this video now, but is there a way to connect with somebody out there before we publish this, and for you to be able to make a connection with someone's something, like a relative who maybe passed, pet who maybe passed, or even live pet or something?
Oh yeah, also one more thing about the story. So in this story, they were in the cabinet, Buttercup. He was in the thing, and
What's the thing?
the battle between the tribe and in the kingdom.
Yeah.
And so when it happened, he accidentally got crossfire, and one of the things that can melt through metal attacked him, but it only the spear, because of course, well, he's not made out of metal.
Right.
Metal cat.
Yeah.
And so when the spear went through it, it punctured through one of his veins. Well, a lot of his veins. And so it actually wasn't bleeding because the spear was like inside where it would usually bleed. So none of the blood was coming out. But after a little bit, the tribe actually found it, and they actually befriended the cat, took out the spear, and took care of it with the herbs. Of course, they had a lot of herbs. If they had enough herbs to make a soup,
we could do a part 2 to this too, you know.
To go to metal, and
we could do a part 2 to this because this is kind of interesting because we started off one way and really maybe so maybe we're weaving into something. Okay. So, all right, do you want to do that? And we'll do our usual.
Maybe, yeah, sure.
All right.
Okay, so wait, can I?
Yeah, finish, please.
Okay, so they healed it in this tub, befriended the cat, and that's where we got of old age. So he died with the villagers, had a pretty happy life, went from one kingdom to the other one to a tribe, and he left, and he had his elderly age, and he was young in the first kingdom, like middle age in this kingdom, and then his last years in the tribe. Maybe
video number 2, we could get into a past life of yours. Maybe we could talk about past life of yours. I can tell you about one of mine.
Like past life video?
Yeah, like we could do that, because the reason I'm saying that is because I'm getting, again, a connection, and I'm trying to, like, I know you're like a very cosmic being, like I had to drag you to earth, really. So your perspective is like very cosmic. Um, and sometimes I have to open my imagination to like literally see pictures of what you're talking about, or literally like connect. But maybe I don't know, how many lifetimes have you had on Earth? Do we remember? Did we talk about that way in the beginning?
Yeah, I learned that like since some people could experience a lot of lifetimes at a time. I got 108. Last time I checked, it was 18. 100. Well, I got 108. That's 108 lifetimes on Earth.
Right, because usually you're a cosmic guy. Usually you're out on other planets, like with Twyla, doing other work. So that's why I was asking, like, I know Earth is relatively new for you. And that's why a lot of our conversations are very out there. Like, literally, when you're talking about all these cosmic beings, it's because that's where you live best. So, okay, we're going to do a part 2 to this, but I do want to end this part 1, or this session, with one of Soul.2k's light language prayers or messages, because I feel it's whether you get what we're talking about or not, light language will go right to your heart space, and so you'll feel the love from that also. So
Okay, so
cool.
you want to end it right here? I want to
Well, yeah, okay, we're gonna end it here, but we're gonna do your light language and
Yeah.
then message, okay?
Alright,
So take it away.
2, 1. Iam siang yakwabwa idam pujim wakya ampadiam pupasyam ko iyang ka bijium babuya. And translates to angels' wings are made out of the cosmos and are crafted by the light ones. So and the reason angels are so valuable are because the essence in their wings are the definition of light and freedom. Cosmos are where the word freedom comes from. You can travel anywhere in them and see any new sights. Anyone who goes there are blessed with eternal freedom and able to have happiness through how long they want to stay.
Oh man, I don't know why I got emotional on that, but wow. Oh, freedom, freedom, freedom. No fear. All right, we're gonna end this session on that note, and love to all. Thank you for being here. And we're gonna head over, take a break, and then we're gonna do another one for tonight.
And also out of why angels are happy a lot of time in hibernational, because they basically have something that is the definition of freedom on their body. So
thus our angel wings here tonight with our little lights.
actually where I got it right in the beginning when I was looking at those.
Oh my God.
So I got it early.
That's beautiful. All right, we're gonna take a quick break, drink break, and then we're gonna carry on with part 2. So thank you for joining us, and we'll see you in a little bit. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a great day. Like and subscribe and share if you think any of your friends will like it.
Thank you.
Please comment. I need it.
He does, please. Questions,
And
anything.
motivation or question.
Okay, here we go.
Bye.
Bye.